Hello, and welcome to a broadcast sponsored by Friends of Terry Virgil. I'm Terry Virgil, and today's episode is Marism-is-common-core-standard. How did I come up with that idea and looked at it? Well, I decided to do a little radio broadcast about Marxism, exactly what it is. I found out today, uh, recently that Common Core Standards takes the Cold War out of history books, thus takes Marxism out of history books, and replaces it with the idea that Marxism is better than what we have today. We don't really exactly have freedom and liberty anymore because of people like the Clintons and the Obamas and the Sanders and the other things like the Nancy Pelosi's and people like that. But when you look at Marxism, and these people that I just mentioned really hate the idea of a free enterprise system. They hate freedom and liberty altogether. We gave a definition in the last episode that Marxism really is hatred towards freedom and liberty, and is also a hatred towards sovereignty and the sovereignty of the nation. We define that as well too, because all Marxism, and according to Karl Marx, sovereignty of a nation should not exist. It must not exist. Now, there are some people that are left still alive, and very few of us, that grew up in the days of the Cold War. Now, I have given some pretty good definitions in the description of the program about Marxism. I encourage you to read them. I also encourage you to understand that to do your research in history here about just exactly what Marxism is all about. Now, I grew up in the Cold War era. Matter of fact, I was also in the military during the Cold War era. So I should have a first-hand acknowledgement to what Marxism really is and really is all about. Because I will tell you the truth, on a military diplomatic mission, we were supposed to meet with the Soviet Union in a certain place at a certain place in time. I'm not going to give you that information out, but I and one Soviet Union Army personnel, and I'm in the Marine Corps, stood toe to toe just about with our rifles locked and loaded, ready to shoot each other. We were both put on in this mission to be around certain diplomats at the time. But anyways, we'll get off that story and go on to the idea of what Marxism really is. Obama loves Marxism, as I stated before, because he is a Muslim, and he has stated and said that Marxism is the same thing as the Islamic state of Muslims, as the occult group really is. He has stated that, and that there's where I get the quote from, those words. Hillary Clinton, which is the clone of Obama, yes, a clone is the right word, of Obama, agrees with Obama about the Islamic state of Muslims being Marxist in nature. We also know that Sanders follows the ideas of Adolf Hitler. And the ideas of Adolf Hitler would come from Karl Marx, by the way. Therefore, socialists and communists would agree that Marxism is a very good idea as a political type of system and a good way to run a government. There's a few exceptions in there that's very plainly clear, and between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and their campaigns. But we can also say that why is Marxism against God? Well, they want to get God out of the picture, so they come up with this idea of common core standards. All communists love the idea of common core standards, because then they could eliminate things from history like the Cold War. Thus, they're also going to say people like me that lived during the Cold War and also was in the military during the time of the Cold War, never existed. In other words, we didn't fight during the Cold War, therefore the Cold War wasn't really a war at all, just the disagreements. Well, in reality, there were times when that Cold War did heat up a little bit. That Cold War almost became a hot war in 1962. Correction, 1962 in October, when the Soviet Union decided to put missiles and was thinking about launching missiles in this communist country called Cuba, 90 miles away. We also know about, during the Cold War, about this thing called the Korean War, which is also known as the Forgotten War. We Americans understand the Korean War because it's recognized today. The Vietnam War is recognized because there are too many vets out there that won't let America forget. One person that would like to really forget the Vietnam War, and her name stands out. She hates the United States of America. Matter of fact, she's a Marxist herself, and her name is Jane Fonda, who is, by the way, a traitor to the United States of America. She is a traitor that's allowed to live in the United States of America under the ideas of freedom and liberty. That's what freedom and liberty gives her. The idea is to be a traitor, to stick her nose up in the United States of America. She loves to hate the United States of America. She's even stated that she hates the United States of America. And she also states that she's even hates freedom and liberty. She loves communism. That's a communist bitch for you. And she also cuts her hair short. She's a feminist, a liberal, a Democrat, a socialist, and a communist. We've mentioned that. But let's go to what else that I put in that description. That if you were to define Marxism in the Common Core standards, that's what's being taught in today's public schools. Marxism loves the public school system. That way they could bring in their ideology and their religion, which Marxism really is a religion, because all atheists love Marxism. And let me repeat that again. Every atheist loves Marxism. From Obama to Hillary Clinton to Bernie Sanders, they love Marxism, every one of them. It doesn't matter if it's your next door neighbor, your husband, your wife, your child. If they love Marxism, or correction, if they love it to be an atheist, they love Marxism. They love bondage and slavery. They hate freedom and liberty. Each and every atheist does. It doesn't matter if it's your grandmother or the child that's in your womb. If you are an atheist, you are teaching that child to be a Marxism. You are teaching that child evil and how to be a communist or a socialist. Because here's the real answer. All feminists, it doesn't matter if it's your mother, it doesn't matter if it's your grandmother, it doesn't matter if it's your father, your sister, your brother, your aunt, uncle. If you're a feminist, you are a Marxist, and you are a card-carrying communist. End of sentence. You hate America. You hate the idea of freedom and liberty. End of sentence. You hate the sovereignty of the United States of America. That's why it is important that we bring out the definitions, just exactly what a Marxist is, and Marxism, what it's all about. You don't understand, if you are a Marxist, why people hate so much. It's because of you and your bigotry. Let's put it this way. Marxists are lovers of things like atheism, Ku Klux Klan. You are nothing but pure hate. That's exactly what Marxism is all about. It's a government of hate, a government of greed, a government that says the people must be controlled through its own military. Take a look at North Korea, Cuba, China, Russia, England, France, Germany, Canada, Mexico, Venezuela. Let's take a look at Australia. Yes, I mentioned these countries, and a lot of people would say, well, they're free countries. No, they're not. They're socialism. That's Marxism. England is one of the biggest Marxist countries that is in the world. Believe it or not, you got a queen. We got a Marxist in the White House right now. His name is Obama. See how dangerous this is? In some ways, it was good that I didn't shoot the son of a bitch called the Soviet soldier, but he's a communist. Probably doesn't understand anything at all. We just got done, some people, and I do not celebrate May Day. Here's one thing about Marxism. And let's go to the workforce. Everybody that's a member of a labor union is a Marxist. Therefore, you are a communist. Because you are the ones that say, down with capitalism. I've heard it from those from Seattle on the news. Down with freedom and liberty is what they're saying. They're saying that all workers should be in control of all industry. They were saying that on May 1st in Seattle, Washington. All those communistic ideas that are Marxist from labor unions. We